On the night of July 4th, 1988, while America celebrated independence with fireworks and laughter, a wrestling legend was taking his final breath on a dark Canadian highway. Adrian Adonis, one of the most controversial and unforgettable WWE superstars of the 1980s, would never make it home. A violent crash. A crushed vehicle. A life ended at just 34 years old. Officially, it was called an accident. But fans still ask, how did one of wrestling's brightest, most complex characters meet such a brutal end? And why does his death feel so sudden, so tragic, and so unnatural? Tonight, we uncover the shocking, mysterious, and heartbreaking story of Adrian Adonis. Born Keith A. Frank in New York, Adrian Adonis discovered professional wrestling at a young age and quickly realized it was more than sport. It was performance, psychology, and survival. Trained by wrestling veterans, Adonis showed natural athleticism, surprising agility for his size, and an instinctive understanding of crowd reaction. Early in his career, he wrestled as a powerful brawler, earning respect across multiple territories. Even then, promoters knew he had something special, a presence that commanded attention the moment he stepped into the ring. Adrian Adonis rose to national fame in the WWF during the early to mid-1980s, capturing the WWF Tag Team Championships and becoming a major television personality. He could wrestle serious matches, draw heat effortlessly, and adapt to any storyline given to him. But it was his later character transformation that made him unforgettable and controversial. As the adorable Adrian Adonis, he shattered norms, embraced flamboyance, and provoked intense reactions from fans. Some laughed. Some were angry, but everyone watched. In an era far less accepting than today, Adonis carried a character that challenged masculinity and expectations, often at great personal cost. Behind the scenes, life was far more complicated. The wrestling industry of the 1980s was ruthless long travel, constant pain, and little emotional support. Adrian Adonis struggled with weight fluctuations, injuries, and the psychological toll of playing a controversial character night after night. Some fans didn't separate character from person. Hate followed him outside the ring. Friends later described him as sensitive, deeply affected by criticism, and quietly struggling to find balance in a business that never slowed down. On July 4th, 1988, Adrian Adonis was traveling in Canada with fellow wrestlers Pat Kelly and Dave McKigney after a wrestling event. While driving through Newfoundland, their vehicle lost control on a rain-slick road and slammed violently into a moose before crashing. The impact was catastrophic. Adrian Adonis suffered fatal injuries and was pronounced dead at the scene. He was just 34 years old. Officially, Adrian Adonis died in a tragic accident. But fans still struggle with the suddenness and cruelty of it all. A man who endured years of physical punishment in the ring, emotional abuse from crowds, and relentless industry pressure only to die on a dark highway far from home. His death wasn't the result of old age or illness. It was violent, sudden, and unforgiving. To many, it represents the ultimate price paid by wrestlers of that era, bodies broken in the ring and lives lost outside it. The wrestling community was stunned. Fellow wrestlers spoke of Adrian Adonis as a kind, intelligent, and misunderstood man who gave everything to the business. Fans who once booed him began to appreciate the courage it took to play such a role during a time of intolerance. His death forced many to reflect on how performers were treated and how little protection they had once the show ended. Today, Adrian Adonis is remembered not just as a wrestler, but as a trailblazer, someone who pushed boundaries and paid a heavy price for it. His work helped pave the way for more expressive, fearless characters in professional wrestling. Yet his story also serves as a warning. Fame does not equal safety, and applause does not heal pain. Adrian Adonis lived loudly, wrestled boldly, and died far too young. His death may be labeled an accident, but the forces that shaped his life, the pressure, the punishment, the isolation, were anything but natural. And as long as his story is told, his voice, his courage, and his sacrifice will never be forgotten.